Hi guys, so we really want to see if this works. Like, I guess it looks like the tablet, the iPad works better when it comes to just like doing the iMovie and getting it to work or whatever. But I just wanted to like sort of share with you guys a story. Not really a story, not like a false story, but a real life true story, which is I just need to get this off my chest. So I'm literally like I'm pretty much over it, but it's upsetting when things get to you or when things happen to you. Until you deal with them or you talk about those issues, they sort of bug you. And you don't want to be bugged by these issues. So you want to talk about them, you want to deal with them personally. You have all sorts of different people that come in your life bringing their drama towards you, where it's like, okay, dealing with your drama before you deal with anybody else's drama is just the most important thing, because once you deal with your drama, then you have room and space to deal with other people's drama, because people come up to you like a therapist, even if you're not a therapist, even if you're a patient yourself. Everybody's a patient in their own way, and everybody's a therapist in their own way, and that's where friendships begin. But when you're a kind of person that's dealing, or you're a queen or what, you're all queens and kings. But when you're a person that is like of royal descent or whatever it is, you sort of have so much on your plate where it's like, oh my god, like your mind is like beyond this world, where you're not really, you're above, mentally above them, to a point where it seems like you have the mental disorder, because they're not on your mental level yet, or you hear things that they don't hear, and everybody's is on a different level of mentality. So there are people that get you, there are people that don't get you. So it's really important that you just try to understand yourself and accept yourself for who you are. Leave the places that are keeping you hostage, the people that are keeping you or making you feel like you're not worthy, or you're not good enough, or you're not going to be better, or you don't want to be around people like that. Like for me, it was my ex-family members, birth mother, always telling me things like, you're not beautiful when you're on the street, or you're this, but then when I live with her, when you live with her, she's like abusing you physically and mentally. You know what I mean? I grew up, my birth mother beat on me, growing up, you know what I mean, for no reason. She always took somebody's side over mine, and even if when I was right and they were wrong, I was still the one that was in the wrong. And her excuse is she was treated that way, that's why she treats me that way. Like, how do you stop the cycle if you keep doing repeatedly, if you keep repeating the things that were done to you, passing them on to your children? Me, for instance, like when I got pregnant with my daughter and I finally had her, I told myself, or told God, and whoever I was praying to, God basically, or whoever, that I'm never gonna hit my child. I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna do that. Being a mother is a very hard job. It is. It's hard because you don't want to hit your kids. You want to be the best mother. You want to do this. You want to do that. But then when the kids come, it's hard when you're not mentally prepared. You never graduated from high school, so you're not mentally prepared or trained to handle another human being. You need to be able, like, for instance, white people, most of them, they're mentally prepared to raise their children. That's why they raise their children in a better, in better ways. They have the money, first of all, to put them in better schools, to get a better education, versus the black race, where we don't really have the finances. We don't have the tools to give our children toys and take them away when they're bad. So we're forced to have to spank our kids. So I'm not mad at her. I understand her, like, frustration. She's been through a lot. She's been through hell. So I'm not the kind of person like, you're a bitch, you're this, that. But she was acting like one. And that's just a personal, opinion. It's the truth. But at the same time, I do understand, but I do not allow this woman to be in my life. I do not want this woman in my life. I don't tolerate it. I don't care what the excuse is. If you cannot change from your mistakes, or if you cannot prove to be a better person, like literally, you cannot be around me, because I'm trying to be a better person. I gave my daughter up for adoption, and literally my sister and my brother, they all make up these lies and say, oh, you couldn't even take care of your own child, you couldn't even do this, and you couldn't do that, and I'm like, I gave my daughter what was best for her, and I asked God what he wanted me to do, and he told me to give her up for adoption, because he knew what was ahead of me. He knew I had way too many enemies, or too many people, and I wasn't mentally stable to take care of my own daughter. I asked for help, you know what I mean? Sure, I asked for my daughter. I asked God to give me a child when I was 16 and get me pregnant at 17 and give birth to my daughter at 18 years old. I wanted to be a young mother. I didn't want to be older. I wanted to be old enough to be able to raise my child. I didn't want to be, young enough to raise, young and strong enough, physically and mentally to raise my child, because raising a child can be like a sport as well. You need to have the right stamina, the right energy, I don't know if stamina is the right word, but you need to have the right energy. You need to be there. You can't be just like some grandma raising a child. Like some people, no offense to any grandmothers, because I'm pretty sure there's so many great grandmothers that have taken over their children's role of a mother and became the mother of their grandchildren, and I give it all up to you guys. But this is the message that God wants me to tell you guys. It's so important. If you cannot take care of your child, give your child a chance to someone else. Let somebody out there that is able to take care of your child better than you. Per se, let's say you have your child in a bad neighborhood full of drugs, full of violence. Why would you want your child to be in that? Because a lot of people say even in foster homes, there is people that do drugs or do certain things, terrible things, rape children. So a lot of times when you know things like this, you don't even want to throw your child there. You feel like your child is better off with you. See, me, I didn't know all those things when my child was given, and there was a specific reason why God made it that way, where I wasn't brainwashed by all the negativity around the world, so that I could put my trust in God and let God show me that He knows what to do with my child. Let God show me His power in my child's life. Let God be the father rather than not trusting Him. God wants you to trust Him. He doesn't want you to leave Him out and make you feel as if you're the one that can do better than He can do, when He's already done so much greatness and so much good. He doesn't want you to underestimate His power. And so by the grace of God, when I told God, the minute it was hard to give up my daughter, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna give up my daughter. Like, I don't want to give her up, because I don't want her I don't want her to resent me, or to think like, I didn't love her or anything. And really deep down in my heart, I really did want to give her up. Like, I didn't want to give her up, but I wanted to give her up because I felt like in my heart, like she was holding me back. And in my heart, I just felt like I wasn't living my full life because I was a teenager. And you feel that, like, you gotta listen to your body. Like, I wasn't aware of this until I actually had a child, and I understand that that's what my ex-birth mother actually went through. She had her children at 17 years old. I started giving birth at 17 and being a woman at her teenage years. That's what she wanted. You know what I mean? And so I don't blame her. All I've ever done is try to help her. But she triggers me when she starts to abuse me while I'm helping her, and she's like, oh, you think you're better than me, this and that. So she turns it into a competition where it makes it hard for me to help. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, okay, look, I've fixed the house up. I can do this. I can do that. I can help you with that. But if you're not going to allow that help, then I don't want to stick around for you to allow you to abuse me. The only reason I stayed at her house is when I started to hear voices in my life was literally on the line. Literally could barely breathe. Literally could not go outside. God told me to go to her house, and when I was in there, I was literally in hell. You know what I mean? I was doing everything I can to keep my cool, because a lot of times when you're in the midst of lions, you're in the midst of hard times, like sometimes you have to learn how to keep your mouth shut. You have to learn how to just be quiet and learn how to kindly and safely get out of a situation rather than run your mouth so fast, because the people that run their mouth fast, they're less likely to survive in a situation. You just gotta know where you are and who you are. You may have this ego, and you may be like, oh, I'm this person, I'm this queen, or I'm this. Whatever you are, you're in a position. You're not in much of a position of power if you don't have the money to buy to pay your own bills. If you don't have, a way to feed yourself, and you don't have. So there are times you have to be in those situations where, until God can deliver you from those situations, and by the grace of God, it was about that time to go. God took me out of that house, and I had to be on the street for a while. And it did it did mold me, and I would even before I would rather be on the street than live with her. I stayed on the street for 4 years, and I embraced the lifestyle on the street until it started getting really bad, and it didn't really start getting bad until I started actually hearing the voices. Like I said, because I just felt like I had the energy, like I could do it. I had the joy. All I needed was the happiness and the joy to keep me going and to figure it out, to get the hustle on. And then a boy came in my life, and that man ruined my life. And it's like, okay, then I'm hearing God telling me, like I've already told you guys, oh, he's not the one for you. I'm the one for you. I'm your number one. I'm this and that. I'm like, okay, but I understand that, but in my head, I'm thinking like, well, God is not here with me physically to literally, like, this is what I thought. It's not here physically to give me, like, to fulfill me sexually, to fulfill me, like, give me the feelings or the things that a physical man can give me. And I never thought God could be that person, and he became that person to me. And I had other lovers, of course, in my past time, and I also spiritually, but God became and is that person that will always teach me how to touch on my body or how to take care of my body, where I don't have to go and seek for love in another man or in another person, because there's not much that person can do for me. They can be my partner and help me out, yes, but they cannot literally be like my God and my ruler and know me like God knows me. Nobody knows you like your creator, your heavenly Father knows you. He knows your purpose. He knows your reasons. He knows your steps. He knows your body. He knows the tool that you are and the tool that you're in or that he is in. So he's not gonna let you down, and we pray and we continue to hope. But if God has gotten us so far, oh yes, of course I've doubted God, because I felt like there were times where it wasn't like a complete doubt, like I had faith because I was raised to have faith, but there's times where the enemy tries to bring doubt in your heart and doubt in your mind, and so he can turn you against God. But God has once again proved to me his power, but I'm still slightly afraid of his authority in my life, you know what I mean? And what are you gonna do to me if you're making yourself like the guy that is supposed to be my guy, my husband forever, but you're hurting me and you're making me feel this way, and you feel like you've hurt people or because of me, but then how can I love someone, be in love with someone that wants to hurt me, or that I feel like at any day they can, threaten my life and tell me, I'm gonna rip you apart, I'm gonna destroy you. Like, how can I be in love with someone that feels like they want to destroy me? Like, what do I do about that? Like, I do take those words literal. And with other guys, yeah, I can talk shit and be like that person that's like, oh, I can destroy you and be that person. But deep down, there is a part of me that's like that. I feel like there is a part of me that's like that, when I talk shit. But there's another, a bigger part of me that's like, you can't play that role. You cannot play that role. You cannot talk that way to a person, you know what I mean? And I did feel like when I was with Tyler, I wanted to talk shit to him. I was ready. He's my husband. He's the person that I thought that was my husband at the time. And I was like, okay, this is the guy I get to give it to. I'm gonna give him all my craziness, all my anger, all my frustrations, and I'm gonna get to hear his frustrations and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's what love is. You don't hold back. I know what you feel like. This is what I feel like. But that was because I felt like Tyler is just a person. I don't feel threatened physically or mentally threatened by Tyler. I did feel threatened after I was with him, and then we separated or whatever. They call it a divorce. We were never married to begin with for it to be a divorce, you know what I mean? But with Tyler, it was literally like, okay, this is it. This is the guy that I get to give my all to, my fight to, my anger to, my tears to, my love to, my heart to. And God is like, oh, I'm supposed to be that guy. Oh, I'm that guy for you. And I'm not trying to laugh. I'm just a lot more confused than anything, because I'm like, well, I'm just a person, and then in secret I'm over here going through more hell than anybody, it seems to me, where I'm like, well, and then Jesus is threatening my life, and these are the men that I follow. These are the men that are my leaders, that were supposed to be my leaders, or are supposed to be my leaders. and then ask me to say, oh, we want you to speak your heart, we want you to speak your mind. And the minute I speak my mind, they're like, oh, you're shit, you're trash. And I'm like, well, what is this? I don't understand. I don't want to be in a relationship like this with any of you or with anybody. I want to be better as a person. How can I get better if I'm around people that are threatening my life, that are saying, this is what I can do to you? And yes, I'm humble. I've been humble from the day I was born. They've been torturing me since the day I was born. The people around me or the family that God put me into. Of course, I give it to God and say that He's the one who did it. I probably shouldn't. But I only know so much, about myself, and then they tell me, oh, you were Eve in your past life, and you were with God. And it's understandable, like, you were with Eve, you were with God. But it's like, in my heart, I'm like, okay, that's understandable, but I appreciate that. What do I do about it now? All I can do is prepare myself for whatever it is God is trying to do in my life. And I just hope that it's safe, and I hope that it's not to threaten me. Like, I'm just a person. I have no superpowers. I have nothing. I barely have a home of my own. There's times where I lose my energy, times where I lose my strength. I have no friends, nobody that can truly give themselves to me and say, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to work with you. And the people that are only doing that are my social workers, and I do appreciate them. And I appreciate God for them. And yes, God is doing it for me. God has definitely been there for me. He's definitely delivered me and showed me His power in my life, but He's also threatened me in so many ways where I'm like, well, I don't know how to love you. I don't know how to feel about you. But yet, I am madly in love with Him, where I'm like, okay, we're just gonna accept this and figure it out, and whatever it is, we're just gonna, you can't run from it. I can't run from Him, I can't, and that's understandable. I'm not trying to run. I mean, if I am trying to run, well, Lord, help me and forgive me. I'm just trying to defend myself and be safe, because there is so much going on that the world doesn't know, and the world probably needs to know. And on top of that, I hear the world and the way they're destroying each other, destroying other people. And yes, I've heard everything that they said that God did in the Bible. I've heard about it, and it's like, I'm trying to be honest with you, and I'm trying to be honest because honesty is what you want, right? And so I talk to God, my husband, or whatever He wants this to be. It's like, I'm trying to be honest with you. I don't want you to threaten. How can we be honest with each other without you threatening me or without us threatening each other? I don't want to threaten you. I don't want to hurt you when we're having sex or when we're making love or whatever we're doing. That's what we're doing. We say crazy things. Yes, I'll slap you, or I'll do this, I'll do that, but that's in bad. And then we probably shouldn't even say those things to each other. So we both need prayer. You know what I mean? So we don't talk like that to each other, or whatever. I don't want that. I don't want to want that. I don't care if I have to be a robot and just act like everything is so cool. I don't care. I don't want to want that. You know what I mean? I don't care about, I want your all and all this trash to me. So to me, it's just a bunch of garbage that I just don't want to get into. And I'm sorry. And guys, they say honesty is the best policy. I want to be better as a person. My goal on this planet is to try to make the world a better place. If it's not my job to make the world a better place, I cannot do it alone. Each of us take a role in this world. Each of us live in this world, and we play a part. And that part, you want to be the person that does better, for this planet, rather than tries to destroy this planet. You don't want to be the kind of person that goes against God. Whatever you want to be, then, like I said, I can't go against my God. I can't go against the love of my life, or the creator, or the man that was with me from number one. That's just like blessing me. I can't do that. But I can do my best to talk to Him and tell Him how I feel, because He wants to hear from me, or He wants to hear from my word. But just know that there are spirits and angels and demons or whatever that try to fight against me and fight against my life. And those evil spirits and demons, I rebuke them. And even if they're angels and they're mad at me or in a relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship with any of you guys. I don't want to. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to have 1,000 husbands or 40 husbands or 10 husbands or monogamy. Really, I don't want that. I don't have time to hold everybody. There's a million men in this world that each one of you can have. Each person can have that special girl. You just gotta mold that girl to be that special girl. You gotta teach. There are plenty of beautiful women out here. I don't want to be just with 1,000 men. It's too much. Because you have to deal with each one of these guys' his emotions and personal feelings, and then you're with this guy, and then they feel like, oh, I want to feel like you're just mine. You can't just be. I can't just be. Everyone is just. I'm just yours. It's never gonna be that way, no matter how bad we want it to be. And it's like, it's not up to me to begin with, but it's like, there's so many beautiful women out there. And what am I supposed to say? Oh, they're not. These women are not beautiful. There's plenty of them. We just haven't met those women yet, and it's like I'm not the only good girl. I'm not even a good girl. I'm just blessed to be able to have the sense to to behave, and I haven't always behaved, and I haven't necessarily been like a bad or evil person, but I'm gonna try my best to just do my best, and that's all I can do. And I hope that you guys can understand me, and I hope that you guys can forgive me for saying the things that I've said. I hope God doesn't get threatened by these words. I hope God doesn't hate me for saying the things that I said. I sound crazy, of course, to so many people, even to you guys, but hey, sometimes that's just how it is. Crazy is crazy, and I don't feel like I'm crazy. I don't know. I don't think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I believe in myself. I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, then who's gonna believe in you? Who's gonna fight for you if you don't fight for yourself? Who's gonna talk to you if you don't talk to yourself? If you don't hear yourself, if you don't hear how you sound, to be a better person for yourself at least, because you're all you've got right now. I mean, you got God and you got the guardian angels and everybody, but alright, guys, that's all. I wish you guys the best, okay?